All right, so Kansas City, you guys have started off your week the right way. You've been busy today, huh? You went out and made a move just like that. So, if you haven't heard, the Kansas City Chiefs went out and signed Josh Gordan. Josh Gordan, he is back in the NFL once again. He's been reinstated and he's ready to play football once again, play for a team and compete for a championship. Hopefully this time he'll actually be able to do it. You know, a lot of outside factors have affected Josh Gordan throughout his entire career. It's been the reason why he's been in and out of the NFL. He's had to be reinstated several times and it's just been tough. He's been trying to get help throughout the last several years. That's why he hasn't really been effective since 2013. So it's been a problem for him, but he's back once again, and hopefully this time he'll be able to stay on the field, play football, be able to help out the Chiefs, and hopefully win a title. At least that's what Kansas City's hoping for. But, you know, he's back again, and we'll just see how this situation goes. But yeah, Kansas City going out and picking up Gordan, a weapon to add to this crazy offense. Now, was this signing a necessity for the Chiefs? In my honest opinion, no, not really. Now, you can look at it like this. On one hand, look at all the weapons they have on offense. You didn't really need to add another weapon. I mean, how many weapons does Mahomes really need? Okay, this just further, adds to the narrative that a lot of people that don't like Mahomes continue to, throw out there. They throw out the narrative that Mahomes is just overrated because he has all these weapons. And when you continue to give him weapons, it kind of gets difficult to, argue against those type of people. Now, I'm not saying Mahomes is overrated. He's one of the best young quarterbacks in the game. In fact, he's just one of the best quarterbacks in general in the game. We know the talent of Mahomes. But at the same time, it's not all Mahomes when it comes to the Chiefs. He's got the weapons to compete, man. You got a future Hall of Famer in Travis Kelce and one of the best receivers in the game in Tyreek Hill, who's a little cheat code. He's got weapons all around him. To add another one to that list, it's just gonna be like, man, he's got all these weapons. Like at some point, how many weapons do you really need to get the job done? That's what people are going to continue to ask. I'm not going to ask those questions. This is not a video about whether or not Mahomes is overrated or not. I'm just bringing that up because every time the Chiefs get another weapon on that offense, people look at them and say, how many weapons does Mahomes need? This is why he's overrated. If Josh Allen would have these type of weapons, if Lamar Jackson would have these type of weapons, if this player would have these type of weapons, that's just the conversation that comes up because Mahomes has so many weapons to utilize in this offense. So adding another guy like Gordan, it's not really a necessity, but it just helps bolster their overall weapons in their offense. So on one hand, it's not a big necessity, but on the other hand, you have to understand this. If you're paying attention to the Chiefs, you will know that they do not have a reliable third option on this team. Now, Pringle and Robinson, they are also great players. They're great receivers. No one's taking that away from them. They are also weapons that Mahomes utilizes, but neither one of those guys can really be considered the number 3 option. Who do you really go to consistently when Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill are both covered up by the defense? That's a difficult question to answer for the Chiefs. The player that was that case for them before was Sammy Watkins, but Sammy Watkins is with my Ravens now, so that's a different situation. By the way, Kansas City, we appreciate that. I remember when we first got Sammy Watkins, a lot of Chiefs fans said, congratulations, we gave you Sammy Watkins. I hope you enjoy him for the 3 games he's going to be here. And I said, thank you. So once again, I'm throwing out my appreciation. I appreciate you guys giving us Sammy Watkins because he's making an impact. He definitely made an impact towards the end of that Lions game. So I appreciate you guys giving us Sammy Watkins. But since they lost Sammy, they don't have that number 3 option. So they've been looking to put somebody there. And Josh Gordan could potentially be that number 3 option for them. But, it all depends on how he's going to look and how he's able to adjust to their system and how he goes out there and performs. Now, obviously, he's been away from football for quite some time. It's going to take him a while to be able to get adjusted back into the NFL and then get adjusted to how the Chiefs play. So it's going to be a while before we see him actually on the field. But once he gets there, we know the talent that Josh Gordan brings. So he can be that reliable third option for them because he can consistently get open. He's still within that age. He's like 30 years old. He's still well within the range of age where he can still be effective. So it's going to take time for Gordan to get to where he needs to. But Kansas City, getting a weapon like this, it's going to help them out. But even though they're getting this weapon, I still don't see it as a major impact or a booster for them. It doesn't really bolster their team up because their issue isn't the offense. We all know their issue isn't the offense. It's a nice pick. It helps improve the offense. If he can get to where he needs to be, you have a reliable third option, so you don't have to always rely on Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill. You got that third guy now. So I get it. It helps improve the offense, and it's another weapon for Mahomes. But your issue isn't your offense. Your issue is your defense. This defense cannot stop anybody. You understand that, right? This defense can't stop anybody. You couldn't stop the Browns. They had to turn the ball over for you guys to get a chance. You couldn't stop the Ravens' run game. Like, this defense cannot make stops. And they're relying on Mahomes to have to bail them out every single week. This defense has reverted back to their 2018 form. And that's the biggest issue. If this was like last season and they would have gotten Josh Gordan, oh, it's time to panic. That's another weapon because that defense can at least make stops. But this defense, they cannot make stops. They are starting off the season very poorly. They're giving up over 30 points a game, man. This is terrible. This is terrible. You cannot continue to give this up. 30 plus points a game. This defense can't make stops. They can't stop the run. They're giving up big plays in the secondary. They can't make stops. They are looking horrible, and they're relying on Mahomes. And now we're starting to see at some point, they're going to be limits to that. People are starting to get used to how Mahomes play, and, in some cases, it's costing them. It's definitely costing them. And some of the decisions that Mahomes would take, which, again, that was the one negative in his game that I didn't like in his MVP season, the fact that he'll take risks far too many times than he needs to. Now, of course, over the last couple years, it's worked out for them. But it doesn't mean it's always going to work out. There are times where he'll take a risk and just launch the ball down the field and just say, hey, Tyreek Hill's there somewhere. And over the last couple years, that's worked out. But that isn't always going to be the case. With him throwing the no-look passes, sometimes that's just not going to work out. You're going to make a dumb throw right there that's an incomplete, or in the case that happened here, it wasn't a bad throw, but it ended up getting tipped up because the receiver couldn't catch it. It gets bounced in the air, it gets picked off. Just make the throw regularly. Some of the things Mahomes does, it's special, it's great, it's flashy, but the fact that he gets a little bit crazy in terms of trying to make the play even if nothing's there. He's always trying to make something out of nothing, and plenty of times he's done that, but that, other times it results in turnovers, and that ended up happening yesterday against the Chargers. So, it's starting to catch up with Mahomes because, he continues to do this. He has to continue to bail out his defense. And at some point, if your defense is giving up over 30 points a game, what can you do? I love how great Mahomes is. The Mahomes and the Chiefs offense, they're fantastic, but you can't sit there and say every single week you have to rely on Mahomes to bail this team out because defense can't make stops. That is a serious issue. Your defense is your main concern. So getting Gordan is going to be another addition, another weapon for Mahomes to utilize, but it's not going to increase or just make the Chiefs a better overall team because their defense is still an issue. Through 3 games, they've been an issue. And it doesn't look like they're going to get any better. They can't stop the run. They continue to give up big plays. They continue to give up points. What can you do with this? Honestly, if it wasn't for the turnovers that Cleveland made in horrible situations, the Chiefs should be 0-3 right now because their defense is costing them. You can't just continue to rely on Mahomes like this. If this is the defense we're going to see throughout the entire season and into the postseason, assuming the Chiefs make it there, they're not going to the Super Bowl this year because this is similar to the 2018 defense that cost them. They just can't make stops. You cannot continue to sit here and rely on Mahomes to bail you out every single time. That's not going to work every time. At some point, you're going to get games where that's just not going to work out, and that happened yesterday. That's why we saw in crunch time, you had Mahomes throw a pick. On that third down play, he threw an interception. That gave the Chargers a chance to go down the field, score, and they won the game. So, you can't rely on Mahomes to bail you out every single week. Mahomes can't be perfect every single week. But with the way this defense is playing, they're forcing him to have to be perfect every single week, and he hasn't been perfect. Again, in back-to-back weeks, he's turned the ball over. In back-to-back weeks. In September. This is different. He's turned the ball over in back-to-back weeks in September, something he's never done. And now he's taking back-to-back losses in September, something that has never happened. The Chiefs are going to be fine. This isn't an overreaction. I'm not saying the Chiefs are going to be in trouble or they're going to miss the playoffs. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that adding Josh Gordan is not going to help increase their chance to get to a Super Bowl. The goal they're trying to do right now. They're trying to get back to the Super Bowl. trying to go there for 3 straight years. If they want to get back to the Super Bowl, they have got to fix that defense. So it's nice to see them get a reliable, I can't say reliable yet. Let's see how he plays out. But it's good to see them get another weapon who could potentially fill in that number 3 spot for, that Sammy Watkins originally had. Josh Gordan can potentially fill up that number 3 spot. So it's nice that they got him, but it's not like it's going to be that much of a game changer for them because their defense is the main issue. Unless they fix that defense, they're not going to the Super Bowl. This defense cannot continue to give up 30-plus points a game and play this way, not being able to stop the run, giving up big plays in the pass game. They cannot continue to play like this and get to a Super Bowl. So yeah, it's great to see they got Josh Gordan. It's not really much anyone else in the league should panic about because their defense is an issue. But it's nice to see them give another weapon to Mahomes, even though their defense is the issue, which is really the takeaway from this. Mahomes gets another weapon, but defense is still the issue. So until they can fix that, it's not really going to matter that much. Anyway, that's really all I have to say about this. Chiefs got to get their crap together, which they will because it's Kansas City. I'm not worried about them. I still think they're going to win the AFC West. I still think they're going to make the playoffs. They might be in the AFC Championship game. Nothing has changed for me. They're just starting off the season rough because their defense is playing bad. And Mahomes is turning the ball over with something he's not used to doing that, consistently or that frequently. So, yeah, it's just been a rough start to the season for the Chiefs, but they'll get it together. They'll be fine. They'll bounce back. But yeah, that's really all I got to say in this situation, and I'm out of here, man. Peace!